Hey everyone, it's Alexander, the real Mr. Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Jungle Cruise, which stars Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, and is based off the Disney ride of the same name. The movie takes place in the 1810s and follows a scientist played by Emily Blunt, as she travels to the Amazons to try to find the mythical tree of life because its petals have incredible healing abilities that could really change the world for the better, or for the worse, considering that she's in a race against time to get to the Tree of Life before this German soldier does, played by Jesse Plemons. And accompanying her on this adventure is her younger brother slash assistant, played by Jack Whitehall, and their very reluctant navigator, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who might have some secrets of his own, as they soon discover during this adventure. So this is another Disney movie based off another Disney attraction, and in this case it's the Jungle Cruise, which is often regarded as one of the most iconic and classic Disney attractions out there, and it doesn't matter which version you go on, whether it's the one at Disneyland or Magic Kingdom, which I myself have not been on, it's still an iconic ride in many aspects. I even know a couple of friends who used to work at the Disneyland version of the ride as a skipper. However, to be honest, it's not a ride that I ride often whenever I go to the parks. I like it and I have a lot of fun whenever I'm on it, but it's not a ride that I make a top priority. It's not something like Space Mountain, Star Tours, Indiana Jones, or Matterhorn where I go, I have to go onto this ride. I have to go on it before the park closes. No, Jungle Cruise is something like, well, I've got nothing to do. I want to go on something relaxing because I'm tired, but I've already done Pirates of the Caribbean, so Jungle Cruise will do nicely. It's a lot of fun. So with this movie coming out, there hasn't been a good Disney movie based off one of their rides, in my opinion, since Dead Man's Chest from 2006. But then again, that movie in itself is not as good as the first Pirates of the Caribbean. So I didn't know what to make of this one going in, because there's that one aspect that I just told you about, where we haven't had a good Disney movie based off one of their rides in 15 years. But at the same time, I really do like Dwayne Johnson. I have not been shy at all by saying that he's the reason I care about the Fast and the Furious movies, not Vin Diesel, and I like Emily Blunt as well, so this could have gone either way, and whenever I see promotional footage of both Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt together, they seem like they're having a lot of fun making this movie. And right off the bat, these two work well together. There's some great camaraderie between both Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt's character. Yes, Dwayne Johnson is kind of playing himself, and I feel like this might be the point where some people are a little sick of him, but not for me. I may have said this before in another video, but I consider him this generation's Arnold Schwarzenegger, where even if the movie he's doing is crap, I still like him in it regardless. And Dwayne Johnson is a lot of fun, and he really seems to be a fan of the original Jungle Cruise ride, because there's a handful of nods to the original attraction, and even though it mostly consists of those puns that you hear from the skippers, it's still fun to see at the very least. However, I will say this, if you're not a fan of puns and you don't like the Jungle Cruise ride specifically for those corny puns, then the pre-title sequence where we're introduced to Dwayne Johnson's character is going to drive you mad. But it's almost like the movie just decided to get the obvious Jungle Cruise puns out of the way from the start, and the rest of the movie they come up with different puns that you wouldn't typically hear on the Jungle Cruise, at least not that I know of. I haven't been on that ride in a long time, so I don't know if they've changed the script at all. And there's some fun action scenes here and there. The best one for me is this escape sequence where our main characters try to leave the port before they get caught by the bad guys. And it's fun. Not much else to it, and this is probably the time where I delve into the negatives about this movie, because when I said that I like Dwayne Johnson in a movie that he's in regardless of whether it's crap or not, I think this movie is crap. Despite my reservations about movies based off of Disney rides, I actually had some expectations going into it. I really wanted to like it, but a majority of the movie is just not all that fun to watch. Again, there's some fun action here and there, but the movie is just flat out fake and artificial, and it has to do with the fact that there's so much CG in this movie, like so much to where there's some obvious Justice League style green screens. And you have to ask yourself, did they actually go to a real location and film some of this? Because I don't buy for a second that this is an actual real jungle. Like, the sets look really fake and terrible, and the CG animals are, oh my god, atrocious. I saw this in IMAX, so seeing it on a bigger screen just draws that more attention to how terrible the CGI is. And it really made me think back to the very first Pirates of the Caribbean. Hell, I'll even throw the second one in there. When you watch that first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, there's a lot of real sets. There's a lot of real stunts, real explosions, a lot of real ship chases. The only time that movie ever really relied on CGI is when they had to do the effect of the crew stepping out into the moonlight and turning into skeletons. And even with Dead Man's Chest, there's a lot of physical stunt scenes in that movie. And with Davy Jones and his crew, the CG is impeccable. Keep in mind, people, when they saw Davy Jones, thought that that was a real makeup effect and not CG. That's how good it was, and still is to this day. There is nothing impressive at all about the effects in this movie. And there are even some characters that are reminiscent of Davy Jones's crew. And they look awful. Like, there's really no reason for these characters to have been fully CGI. They could have done actual makeup effects. So that's probably the biggest thing that hurt the movie for me. Because it was so filled with CGI sets and terrible animals, it was really hard to get past all that. I'm sure it might not bother some people, and if it doesn't bother you, then bless you for that. But for me, I just could not take it. It just felt so fake, and I don't know. So what else don't I like about the movie? Well, I think it's a little too long, and the movie has serious pacing issues where you think we're getting to the end, but no, we still have this big stretch of movie to go. And also the plot is just a little too complicated for its own good. You know, it's funny, out of all the things that this movie could have borrowed from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, the overcomplicated plots were the things that I hoped it didn't borrow from, because I feel like there's way too much going on, and this really should have been a very, very simple movie. I don't see any reason to add a lot of the plot elements that they ended up adding. I mean, maybe it's kind of interesting when it comes to Dwayne Johnson's character. I won't say much else, but I don't know. I felt like it bogged down the movie. So this is tough to recommend because I really don't like the movie at all, but I don't hate it. It's got some charm with your two leads, it's got some fun action scenes, and it is fun seeing some of the nods to the ride. But the over-reliance on CGI, the length, and the overly complicated plot really makes this a tough movie to recommend, so I'm just gonna say watch at your own risk. If you have kids, they're probably gonna dig this a lot, but I don't know if I'd really recommend going out to see it in a theater, because while I'll always embrace the theatrical experience, I feel like if you're a family, this might be better to watch on Disney+, because if you see it on a theater, you really get to see how terrible some of the CGI is. And plus, at $30, and say you're a family of 4 or 5, that's cheaper than having to go to a theater and pay for tickets individually. But if you're just one person and you're really interested in seeing this movie, then see it in a theater. It's not worth paying $30 by yourself to watch on Disney+. But really, I just don't think I have any desire to rewatch this. It's not terrible, but it's no Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl. And there you go, that's my review for Jungle Cruise. Now, if you like theme park stuff, last week I started a new YouTube channel called The Real Mr. Robinson's Outdoor Adventures, which is going to be mostly dedicated to theme park related videos. And when I say it's a new channel, I mean it is new. Like, 1 video and 30 subscribers. That's how new this channel is. But I encourage you to go over there, subscribe. There will be weekly videos. And I hope you enjoy what I eventually upload on that channel in the future. But as for this channel right here, I want to know what you guys think about Jungle Cruise. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this is The Real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only 1. Hello everyone, I just want to say thank you all for watching my review for Jungle Cruise. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, go check out my Twitch channel, and support me on Patreon. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.